Okay, here are today's trending topics. In today's episode of Bailey Talk, we have this from Grok. Thank you, Grok, for putting up these trending topics for today. Now, based on today's trending topics from Grok, Trump's tariff threats. President Trump is making headlines with threats to impose unilateral tariff rates within weeks, escalating trade tensions. This follows reports of China leveraging its dominance in rare earths as a bargaining chip in the ongoing U.S. China trade war. Now, I don't think the United States is feeling too much the effects of the tariffs. I mean, there's inflation, there's this, there's that, and people are like griping and groaning about that. There's a few solutions to that. One is make more money. That's one solution. Two is maybe move to somewhere else where there's not so much inflation. I know here in the city of San Diego, inflation is at its highest in the nation. Just keep that in mind. Inflation is at its highest in the nation. In San Diego, probably Los Angeles too. They just had those fires, so there's that. And then they're having these protests, which insurance rates are going to be it's going to be unlivable. And so I'll get into that in just a second. But I want to continue on this whole tariff thing. China itself is not doing too well either. They're having factories shut down all over the place. Economies are freezing. Banks are freezing. People aren't spending any money. They're living very frugally. Maybe they might not eat meat. Maybe meat will be a delicacy here in the next upcoming months, years in the mainland China area. Maybe they might not eat meat. There's places where even water and all that are considered delicacies, so China might be on that same boat. Things are not going too well for the Chinese, under the Chinese Communist Party. I know that for sure. I follow this page called the China Observer, and it just explains everything that's going on a day to day basis over there. And it's not propaganda because these are Chinese who are coming out and saying this. So it is not like they're trying to criticize the CCP. They're just being honest, and the CCP takes it as, oh, you can't criticize, you can't talk about this, you can't report on it. But hey, that's what happens when you live under communism, and I'm glad that the United States didn't fall under communism with cackling Kamala Harris, the drunk, because she is a drunk. So, anyways, yep, we got the trade talks, the trade threats. We have the Israel-Iran conflict. That's a big one. I think Iran just struck back in response to Israel's attacks. So they hit Tel Aviv. They have all these vessels that hit Tel Aviv. The LA protests and immigration raids. That's another one. South Korea's new president. That's probably something that a lot of people don't know about because they're so focused on the previous subject that I brought up, which is the raids. That's on everyone's mind. And even the whole world is watching that, by the way. Russia and China are looking at it. And the whole world is looking at LA. They probably have money invested into it, just like the Walmart. One of the Walmart CEOs has money invested in it. Then Democratic Senator incident. There was a U.S. Senator by the name of Alex Padilla who was kicked out. He was refusing to leave, so therefore he was arrested on the spot for trying to question. He wasn't arrested for trying to question Christy Noem, like how they'll paint it out to be. He was arrested for refusing to leave. So, bam, there you go. So I'm going to start on the tariff threats from Trump and from China. They're going back and forth, back and forth. There's supposedly a deal that was made, but then again, working with China, they can flip flop around. As China does that, they flip flop around. They try to get the best deal for the Chinese Communist Party and not for the people of China. So let's keep that in mind. They want a better, not the people of China, not the common, everyday, average Chinese citizen, but the military official, the political officials, anybody who's close to Xi Jinping or anybody who's loyal to Xi Jinping. It's like North Korea. It's a big North Korea. So that's what's going on right now. that China is trying to flaunt their advantage as far as like rare earth minerals and all that. But I think at the end of the day, what's the point of flaunting that if your economy is going to shit, if you're having a real estate crisis, if you have all these internal problems, their electric vehicles are exploding on the road. They have all these internal problems, right? They're trying to flex that one thing, maybe fix the other things. If you didn't have nothing wrong going on, then yeah, flaunt. That's fine. But you have all these problems going on. China has all these fucking problems going on, and it just goes to show. See, made in China is cheap. Even the BYD that they promote, the Huawei phones that they promote, the laptops, the folding phones, those are all garbage. People have been having issues with that technology, and they buy it in support of the Chinese Communist Party. It ends up being crap, and so they have these paid people who advertise it, and they say, "Oh no, this is a good phone. You need to support Chinese products and this, and that," and then it ends up fucking breaking, or the car ends up exploding. People end up dying. Not only that, but I think China. There's certain places of China that are falling in a landslide. There's like potholes and all that. Like the roads are collapsing after being rebuilt like 2 years prior. The roads are collapsing. I barely found out about that one today. So yeah, China Observer. If you don't already follow them, guys, on YouTube or on other social media platforms, that is China Observer. Moving on, Israel-Iran conflict. Israel strikes on Iran's nuclear and missile facilities are trending, raising global concerns about escalation. So just a few days ago, I believe Israel launched an attack against Iran, and then just today, a little while ago, Iran launched a response attack to Israel, and they hit certain parts of Tel Aviv. Israel's air defense system missed the targets, so Tel Aviv got hit. Israel and Iran are back at it again. So things kind of seemed a little bit calm for just a little bit with the trade talks, and now boom, it's back to shit. But do I think this is the end? No, I don't think this is necessarily the end. But then again, it's like, do we really want to get involved? Should we have to get? We have all this stuff going on. I don't know if we should get involved. I think Israel should be able to maybe pick up the pieces on its own. Iran shouldn't have nuclear weapons. But I think if Iran does have nuclear weapons, then we tell them, oh, we don't want you to have nuclear weapons. You guys said you wouldn't have nuclear weapons as part of this deal. Bam, you broke the deal. Bam, you guys are fucked. So I don't know. I really don't know. But I kind of feel like, in a way, too, those two countries, that certain region in particular, to kind of just handle things on their own. We just kind of be the, I guess, the mediator, so to say, because a lot of those countries hate Israel. A lot of countries around the world actually hate Israel. It's kind of crazy. He's moving on. The Los Angeles protests and immigration raids. Protests in Los Angeles, sparked by federal immigration operations, continue to dominate the news. Clashes with police, National Guard deployment, and criticism of local leaders like Governor Newsom, and Mayor Bass are key points. The White House has accused him of siding with criminals, while a U.S. appeals court allowed Trump to keep the National Guard in L.A. So a U.S. appeals court allowed President Trump to keep the National Guard in L.A. So what is this fake news about? Oh, the federal judge blocked Trump. The federal judge has no power. I mean, in my opinion, he has no power over the military. Trump is the commander in chief. He's the ultimate leader of the military. So essentially, Trump is the big boss right here. He's the big T. Donald Trump. Newscomb is a fraud. Carrot basket out. So everyone knows Democrats are shit. But hopefully California flips red here pretty soon. And I'm very hopeful for that in the next coming years. But I want to talk about the point of the protest. What is the actual point of the protest? People are just seeing the black and white. Any average, like, common people that person that watches like news on TV, they see, oh, immigration raids, ICE, and immigration, and they're going after these guys. What's wrong with them? And all this garbage, right? But what is the outcome of this? So I'm gonna just pull this up real quick. I'm gonna pull this up real quick. Why is it that these certain groups are funding the protest? What is their interest in funding the protest? What is Walmart's interest in funding the protest? Do they hate Trump that bad? Walmart heiress Christy Walton promotes No Kings anti-Trump protest in ad. So the Walmart heiress Christy Walton, that's Christy Walton. She's an heiress, so she just inherited all her wealth from her family, the Walton family, and she's paying for Donald Trump to have protests against him and ICE agents. So she's paying these people to launch attacks on ICE agents. They're doing their job, and she's paying for these guys to throw rocks and throw boulders. And what interest does she have in watching America fall? She's trying to cause all this trouble. It's actually anti-American. So how should she be held accountable? She's promoting all this garbage. She's doing probably more, as much if not more damage than Gavin Newsom. Newsom's just complying, and Karen Bass is just complying with their base, with their oh never Trump and oh pro immigration and anti law enforcement. By the way, they're anti law enforcement. Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom are probably the worst when it comes to law enforcement. As far as Newsom has been governor, he's never met with any law enforcement ever in his whole term. So, anyways, Christy Walton placed a full page advertisement that ran in the New York Times Sunday. The ad, which the billionaire heiress paid for, calls on people to participate in the No Kings protest, slated to take place across the U.S. on June 14th. It's here tomorrow. Set to take place in Washington, D.C. The date of the parade and protest also coincides with Mr. Trump's birthday, so tomorrow is President Trump's birthday. Tomorrow they're planning mass protests. So, wow, that's kind of crazy. It's going to be like the movie Civil War. They're telling you it's predicted programming. They want it to be like Civil War, mass protests. And of course, they're going to be violent. So, any violence is going to be met with equal, greater force. So, it's not going to be met with lesser force. It's going to be met with equal or greater force to eliminate the threat. So, if anybody's protesting out there, and let's just say San Diego area or LA area, we're not gonna tolerate the shit, dude. This isn't BLM 2.0. All those you guys are trying to make it BLM 2.0. People will defend their lives. They'll defend their property, and yeah, they're gonna back law enforcement. Let them do the job. So ultimately, the protesters, are protecting criminals. So they're protecting criminals. They're bought and paid for protecting criminals. And the ones who are quote unquote just protesting is because they're essentially just useful idiots. And I don't know if they know that. I don't know if they have the knowledge to actually grasp that. They're like the same people who say, oh, leave him alone. Da da da. He's not doing anything. The guy has a gun. So these are the same people. Not only that, but I think Russia, actually, I know for a fact that China and Russia and all these other countries, Mexico even, Canada, the whole world is watching this. And they're trying to plan against America. So these people that are paying for protesters and paying for chaos in America want to see America fall. They want to see the American empire fall. They want to see Donald Trump fail. And I'm not down with that. I'm not cool with that. Not at all. You see people waving the communist flags over there at the protest. And not only that, but I have a feeling because the U.S. and all these other countries, China, Russia, all these other countries are in a race. They have their own conflict going on. China has conflict going on. Russia has conflict going on. Mexico has conflict going on. Everybody, a lot of places have conflicts currently going on. But the one that garners the most attention right now is the protest in LA. And I have a feeling this is partly due to who's going to win the AI race. They want to slow each other down to see who's going to get control of the AI first. It's like when guns first came out. They're trying to see who can get control of guns first. Whoever has the guns wins the war. So whoever has the AI, the most advanced AI with no errors, no flaws or anything, is going to essentially win the race. So the AI is already here. It's not a matter of when the AI gets here. It's already here. It's who's gonna be able to control it first. Is it gonna be China? Is it gonna be Russia? Is it gonna be the United States? Is it gonna be someone with malice intent, or is it gonna be someone who legitimately wants to make the world a better place? So you know, Elon Musk, for example, it could be Elon. It could be the CCP. It could be a rogue group of hackers. It could be anybody. It could literally be anybody. And what we're gonna see in the future is all these tech companies competing to gain all these contracts. It's gonna be it's gonna be the wild wild west of AI essentially, to quote Alex Jones. And so that's the important point that people aren't actually seeing, in my perspective, is who's gonna win the AI race. And then what if the AI sees all this garbage going on, all this malarkey between humans, and they're just going to gain their own consciousness and just determine humans to be obsolete, that they're the problems of the world, and then bam, there you go, robots versus humans. So that's crazy. I think people should be concerned about that, not concerned about ICE doing their jobs. That's my take on it. So moving on. South Korea's new president, Lee Jae-myung, recent election as South Korea's president following political turmoil and martial law remains a global talking point. His call for national unity amid deep polarization is widely discussed. So, Lee Jae-myung. Now, I'm not sure if I'm correct on this one, but I think he's calling for unity of the two Koreas, of North and South. Let me see. Because I read an article real quick that said that you know, communism has won in Korea. So let me see that. South Korea's Lee pledges support on trade issues and meet with top conglomerates. No. New president has big plans, but can he keep the peace? Turns off speakers blasting K-pop in North Korea. Oh, so there he goes. The first thing he does is turns off the speakers that are blasting K-pop into North Korea, which is great because K-pop is unbearable. They're just blasting K-pop into North Korea. That's their way of waging propaganda war. Maybe some people over there secretly like it. I don't know. I kind of find it hard to believe that people in North Korea like South Korea, like K-pop. Maybe there's some people out there. Who knows? I personally don't like K-pop. But this was on Wednesday that South Korea switched off the loudspeakers that had been broadcasting K-pop music. So this guy, one of his first actions that he takes is to turn off the loudspeakers that are blasting music into North Korea. So that's their form of propaganda. So they've been hitting them with that. He ordered the military to turn off the high powered loudspeakers on Wednesday afternoon to help restore trust in South North Korean relations and build peace on the Korean Peninsula. I mean, well, that's good. Maybe this guy isn't so bad after all. He wants peace. That's what it seems like. He wants peace. So If he wants to do peace with Kim Jong Un, I mean that's cool. I just don't see Kim Jong Un wanting to give up power or wanting to share the power. I think he kind of wants to be the control of everything. Then again, he wants Korea to be strong. So we'll see how this plays out. I mean, because he probably needs the power right now. He probably needs a bit more funding, a bit more aid because he just lost a bunch of soldiers in Russia fighting against the Ukrainians, and they were shown to be incompetent. The military of North Korea was shown to be incompetent, unless he just sent the bottom of the barrel, which he did send the bottom of the barrel. But then again, North Korea, so it's kind of like a big, huge percentage just the bottom of the barrel. So I think that's good. I think this guy Lee Jae-myung is kind of getting off to a good start. Silences border loudspeakers, visits stock exchange. He pledges to help boost stop blasting K-pop. So I see what's going on. The media is trying to portray this guy as a radical, but to me, from what I'm reading, he doesn't seem like a radical so much. I mean, he wants peace, so of course you're gonna call him a radical for wanting peace with Kim Jong Un. So nothing wrong with peace right there. So that's good on his part. I think that's good on the president of South Korea's part. U.S. Senator Padilla being handcuffed after attempting to ask a question at a press conference is generating buzz. So I saw that clip of Alex Padilla refusing to leave and just interrupting, and he was acting like a fool, acting like a child. That's what the Democrats do. But this guy, like, he started just yelling and blabbing out of nowhere, interrupting the press conference. And then they're like, "Hey, dude, you gotta go." And he was like, "No, no, no. Oh, we're causing a scene, like a moron." So, and then he was refusing to leave, so that's why they took him down. Like, it's like some some fucking transient dude just refusing to leave, causing a fucking scene, and they're just like trying to use their body weight, which is childish, dude. It's fucking childish. You're a fucking senator. Act like an adult, dude. It's crazy how Democrats are just so fucking childish, dude. This guy is absolutely childish. Alex Padilla. Alex Padilla. And then he wants to talk about like, oh, I'm the victim, and oh, I'm the dude. You're resisting. You're refusing to leave. And that's why they took him down, and he's crying about it. So what a fucking crybaby. He's a loser. Nobody knows who he is. I know who he is because he's local. But I mean, do I really care about? No, I wasn't. I wasn't even thinking about Alex Padilla before this. So I don't know if it's a political stunt or he's just trying to get attention or what's going on here. But I'm pretty sure this will be brushed under the rug fairly quickly. Alex Padilla, no one really cares about him. He's going to be known as the guy who got pushed out and taken down for refusing to leave, and people are going to look at it like he's a fucking moron. That's his highlight of his political career. So, congratulations, Alex Padilla. You are forever going to be known as the guy who was refusing to leave, looked like an absolute buffoon in the press conference of Christy Noem. So, acting like a child, they got taken down, treated like a child. So, there you go. Anyways, guys, that has been today's episode of Bailey Talk. Thank you for watching.